I don't usually tell stories like this, and honestly, I wish I didn't have to. I'm not the type who falls for urban legends or spooky online threads. I'm a boring, rational, explain everything with science kind of person. Or, I used to be. Because after what happened to me a few months ago, after what I heard, what I saw, and what nearly took me, I can't pretend the world works the way we think it does. So just listen. And don't take any of this lightly. I had moved into a small student town at the edge of the state. Quiet place. Cheap rent. Perfect for someone like me, just trying to finish community college before transferring to the university. I found a room through a local listings group. Old house. 2 bedrooms. My roommate was a guy named Marcus. Marcus was eccentric. He smoked a lot, rarely left the house, and loved diving into the deepest corners of the internet. Conspiracies, paranormal theories, weird sound archives, forgotten forums that probably should have stayed forgotten. At first, he was just noise in the background. We'd share a quick conversation at dinner, and he'd ramble about cosmic frequencies or government experiments, and I'd nod and pretend I cared. I didn't. Until the night he showed me something called the Midnight Ice Cream Hunters. He wasn't smiling when he talked about them. He wasn't high. He wasn't joking. He was scared. He opened a forum thread, 3 years old, full of deleted accounts and locked replies. Hundreds of posts, people claiming the same thing. There's an ice cream truck that only comes after midnight. You never hear the engine, just the song. If you see them once, you'll see them again. If you see what's inside the truck, run. I rolled my eyes. Classic internet campfire story. But then Marcus played the audio file attached to the top post. He said it was the Hunter's jingle. And I swear, I wish I had walked out of the room right then. The tune wasn't like any ice cream truck melody I'd heard before. It was warped, chaotic, like a child's lullaby slowed down and chopped apart. Every note felt wrong, like it was played on an instrument that shouldn't exist. And underneath the jingle were sounds. Sticky, wet sounds. A low croaking. Something almost like someone whispering through water. I snorted and said, "Wow, spooky." So, a broken toy piano and someone gargling. Very scary. But Marcus wasn't laughing. He leaned in and whispered, "Don't listen to it for too long. People say it stays in your head. And once it sticks, they find you." I should have left. I should have ignored him. But that stupid broken jingle got stuck in my mind instantly. Even after hearing it for just a few seconds. The next morning, the tune started replaying in my thoughts. Not constantly, but in flashes. When things got quiet, when I paused for a moment, when I walked alone. By afternoon, I swear I heard it. Just a tiny part of it. Coming from the radio in my car. Then again, behind the hum of the refrigerator. Then again, from a passing car stereo. Every time, it lasted maybe half a second, just long enough for my brain to recognize it. I kept trying to convince myself it was just my imagination. An earworm. Nothing more. Until one night around 2:15 a.m. I heard it outside my window. Not in my head. Not on a device. Outside. Real. The jingle drifted down my street like fog. Soft at first, almost distant, but getting clearer with each second. The warped melody. The crunching, sticky noises beneath it. And that drowning, croaking voice whispering something I couldn't understand. I froze. I didn't even breathe. My roommate was gone for the weekend. I was alone. And whatever was out there was getting closer. I forced myself to the window and peeked outside. The street was empty. But the jingle kept getting louder. No headlights. No silhouette. Just that impossible sound. I shut my window and slid down the wall, shaking. For 30 minutes after the music faded away, I didn't move an inch. That's when I made my second mistake. I went back to that online thread. Most of the posts were nonsense, but one user, a deleted account named Room 40, had written something that made my blood turn cold. Once you hear them outside your home, you're marked. Don't listen to the jingle again. Don't search for them. Don't talk about them out loud. The hunters don't like attention. I scrolled down. Another post. If the tune repeats in your head, that means they're tuning you. Like adjusting a radio dial. You'll start hearing them more clearly. And eventually, you'll understand what they're whispering. I shut my laptop so fast the hinge popped. The next day, I tried to distract myself. Music, TV, errands, anything to keep silence away. And for a moment, I thought it worked. Until that night, when the jingle returned. Not from outside, not from my imagination, but from somewhere inside my house. At first, I thought it was my laptop, or Marcus's room, but the sound wasn't coming from a room. It was coming from the hallway. I stepped out of my bedroom, heart pounding. The jingle was soft, muted, like it was playing through a closed door. A door I never paid attention to. The small storage closet under the stairs. The one that had been shut since I moved in. The one Marcus told me never opens right. The jingle played from behind it. Slowly, deliberately, as if the thing behind the door knew I was listening. I backed away, covering my ears. And then, the music stopped. The doorknob clicked. Something inside turned it. Slowly. I didn't wait to see if it opened. I bolted back into my room, locked the door, and sat there shaking for the rest of the night. I didn't sleep at all that night. Every creak of the house felt like footsteps. Every shift in the air felt like something was standing just beyond my door. By the time the sun finally rose, I wasn't relieved, I was paranoid. The light didn't feel safe. Nothing felt safe. I went to campus just to avoid being inside that house. But even there, I heard it. That tiny, mutilated music box melody. Not loud. Not obvious. Just faint enough that I couldn't tell if it was real or my brain replaying it. I covered my ears. But it didn't help. The tune wasn't coming from the outside world. It was coming from inside my memory. As if something was humming it directly into my mind. I knew I had to tell Marcus what was happening. He was the one who dragged me into this in the first place. He had to know what to do. But when I got home, his door was half open. His room looked like it had been ransacked. Clothes everywhere, desk knocked over, chair on its side. And on the floor, his phone, screen cracked. I picked it up. One last message was typed out, unsent. If you hear the second verse, don't run to the door. They wait there. My stomach twisted. Second verse. There was more to the jingle? I didn't want to know. But part of me already suspected that whatever I heard in the hallway last night was only the beginning. I searched the rest of the house, slowly, carefully, calling his name. Nothing. No sign of struggle. No footprints. No forced entry. Just his room. And that damn closet under the stairs. The door was once again closed. But this time, something was different. Someone had slid a piece of paper under it. I felt sick just looking at it. I didn't want to touch it. But I forced myself. The paper was old, yellowed at the edges. On it was a hand-drawn picture. A child's drawing. Stick figures. A street. A big, square truck with a window. But inside the ice cream window, there wasn't a person. Just a long black shape. Bent. Twisted. Like a shadow that learned how to move without a body. The truck had a sign on it. Midnight Hunters. And below the drawing, in shaky child handwriting, they come for the ones who hear them. I dropped the paper and stepped back. My chest tightened. My mind raced. Was this from Marcus? Was someone messing with us? Or was it something else? I needed answers. So I did something stupid. I reopened the forum thread. Half the posts were gone. Deleted. Wiped clean. But the ones that remained were worse than before. People describing the same melody. The same knocking. The same whispering from behind doors. And one message that made my blood run cold. The hunters don't drive a truck. The truck is something they use to learn your shape. Once they know your outline, they leave the truck behind. And they come themselves. I slammed my laptop shut. But I was too late. Because from outside, drifting faintly through the evening air, I heard the jingle again. But this time, it was different. The notes weren't warped anymore. They were clear, smooth, slower. Like the sound was adjusting, tuning itself, becoming easier for me to understand. It wasn't a melody anymore. It was a message. I didn't understand the words yet, but I understood the intent. They were calling me. I ran to the window. The street was empty. No truck. No headlights. But the sound kept growing louder. It wasn't coming from outside anymore. It was coming from inside the walls. From the pipes. From the vents. From every direction at once. I grabbed my keys and sprinted toward the front door. My hand froze an inch before the handle. Marcus's unsent message echoed in my mind. If you hear the second verse, don't run to the door. They wait there. I stepped back slowly. The music changed. The second verse had begun. The melody stretched, slowed, and then dipped into a deep, guttural hum. A rhythm almost like breathing. Panting. Something was standing on the other side of my front door, waiting for me to open it. I stumbled backwards, shaking. The jingle stopped. Silence. Then, knock. Knock. Oi. Knock. 3 slow taps. Fingertips dragging across the wood afterward. My legs buckled, and I nearly fell. Another knock. But this time, it came from behind me. From the hallway. From the closet under the stairs. The door handle began to turn. Too slowly. Too quietly. Like someone was trying not to scare me. Or trying to make me curious enough to approach. I backed away, hands trembling, breath shaking. Then, everything stopped. No knocking. No jingle. Silence. Until a voice whispered from behind the closet door. Not loud. Not aggressive. Just playful. Like a child whispering through a broken toy speaker. You heard us. We hear you too. I couldn't breathe. I ran. Not to the door. Not to any room. I ran into the bathroom and locked myself inside. I curled up against the wall and stayed there all night, listening. Waiting. Trying not to scream. The music came back once. Soft. Almost gentle. Then it faded. By sunrise, the house was quiet again. When I finally stepped out of the bathroom, the hallway was empty. The closet door was shut. And a new piece of paper was lying on the floor. Another drawing. This one showed a stick figure sleeping in bed. And outside the window, 4 tall, thin shapes standing on the street. Watching. At the bottom was a message. Next time you sleep, we'll finish the song. I moved out that same day. Marcus never returned. His things stayed exactly where he left them. The police treated it like a runaway case. But I know better. Because now, every few nights, when I'm alone, I still hear that jingle. Clearer, closer, and I know exactly what it means. They're almost done tuning me. And when the song finally makes sense, when I can understand every word, I don't think I'll be here anymore.